everybody. I'm going to keep the chat over here. Keep that chatter up just in case. But I'm pretty sure nobody is going to be on watching this live. But the reason I'm doing this live, if you're watching this now, is because today is my wife's birthday, so I didn't have a lot of time to produce like the actual content and to chop and edit and do all that stuff. So I figured let me just do a live stream while she's getting ready. We're about to head out and go out to the theme park today. So yeah, man, just wanted to hop in and do a quick top 10 list. I'm excited for that. Hopefully you can hear me. I think Giovanni's in the chat still. Giovanni, you can hear my audio, right? Do I sound good? Thumbs up if you're still there. Got 4 people watching. Everybody hear me? Like, give me a thumbs up so I can get going, man, because I hope you guys can hear me. Oh, I can hear myself. Hello? I can get going. Yep, I can hear myself. We're good. Okay, could have just done that. Anyways, so welcome to my next top 10, which is supposed to be top 10 my friend David, his top 10 list. He actually just got back from a cruise, so he wasn't able to record, and because it was my wife's birthday, it was a little complications with that. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing instead, we're going to do his top 10 next week. For this week, though, as my live stream, I'm going to do top 10 filler games. This was something that was suggested in the comment section. So when I see your comments, man, I reply to them. So please write in the comment sections of whenever I do my polls. Let me know what you guys want to see, because I think that if there's a specific video you guys would like to see, I'd love to do it. And so this was a suggestion that somebody had, and I think it got the most votes, top 10 fillers. So real quick, top 10 filler games. Let me explain what a filler game is. And let me back this up because you guys can actually see the corner of that box. Not that you would know what it is. Top 10 filler for me is a game that takes 30 minutes or less. I would say not even 30 minutes. I would say like maybe like in the 20-minute and under range. If a game takes less than 20 minutes, it's typically a good filler game. So I think 20 minutes or less is good. Some 30-minute or less filler games are good too, because I think if it takes less than an hour, it's pretty much a filler game. So with that as the understanding of what a filler game is, it's a quick, easy to teach, fun game that we could just throw a whole bunch of rounds of these. That's what a filler is for me. So my honorable mention, and this is going to be a weird one, but my honorable mention for filler games, so you can hate me in the comments if you want. Honorable mention, Caesar's Empire, okay? And let me see if we got this centered. Yeah, we're good. Caesar's Empire, the Dice Tower, they really enjoyed this game, and they promoted it a lot when they did a review of it. Chris Yee gave it a 10 out of 10. I think it was like his #1 game of the year or something like that. It's insane. I was very skeptical, but when I played this game, it's like honestly, it reminds me of like Ticket to Ride, Catan. It's very entry level, very easy to teach people. Like, this game takes literally seconds to teach people. Like, it's just like, hey, do this, put out one of your little trail people, and then you count backwards, and that's how many points you get. And as you collect these resources, you get points. The more of them you have, and the more variety of resources. Like, that's it. That's the game. It's very simple to explain. Obviously, I took a couple of things out just to make it fit, but with a good group of people who have played this enough, dude, you can knock a game of this out in 30 minutes or less. It really does not take a long time. But if you have a lot of people with a lot of analysis paralysis, or people who like to be on their phones and don't pay attention, this can take a very, very long time. But once you know how to play this, dude, these games go by so lightning quick, even with 5 players. This game is phenomenal, and it would have made my filler list, but the thing is that I don't think it's really a filler game. This is actually an actual board game, but it's so fast. That was one of the things I was shocked by, is just how quick this game played. But that would be my honorable mention, Caesar's Empire. I really like that game. You guys should definitely get a copy of that. I think it's super good. So let's go on with the rest of my top 10 filler games. My number 10 is Boss Monster. Boss Monster, this is, for me, a very underrated and underappreciated game. I think on BGG, it's got to be like under a 7 or something. But this game is fantastic. It is such a fun game to play. Basically, the premise of the game is that you're building a dungeon. Picture it's a Mario versus Bowser. You're Bowser building a dungeon for Mario to die in. And that's kind of the way the game works. It's got 8-bit animation graphics. The graphic design on this game is incredible. I really enjoyed playing this game, and I think that if more people played it, they would really appreciate this game. Boss Monster 1 and 2 were really good. Boss Monster 3 was not as good, but it's just like a little dungeon building game where you build these rooms that have abilities and they do damage to heroes that enter them. And so you want to build a dungeon that has 5 rooms that does a ton of damage to knock out heroes, because every hero you knock out, you get victory points. So done. Boss Monster, my number 10. My number 9, I think, is a really cool game, and it's perfect timing on this one because the Kickstarter just went live for this game. If you want to get the new version of this, which is Point City. But Point Salad, man, what an easy to play game, and this game takes 15 minutes. Or maybe slightly more, but for the most part, it's such a fast-paced, easy-to-play game. You got this row of vegetables, and you're collecting all of these vegetables and creating, I guess, like a salad. And then on your turn, you can either draft vegetables, 2 vegetables, or you can draft cards that have scoring, like a type of scoring card. So it'll say you get 2 points for every carrot you have. So then if I grab that scoring card and put it off to the side and I collect a whole bunch of carrots, I would get 2 points for every single carrot that I collect. And it's just a bunch of different types and ways to score, and there's a lot of hate drafting in this game, so it's very fun. And then Point City is coming out, which is more like a little city building game. And I haven't got a chance to play that, obviously, but the Kickstarter is live now, and I think I will pick it up because I really like Point Salad. Point City seems like it's going to be right up my alley, but this is a perfect filler game. Very easy at the beginning or at the end of a game night to just get a couple of games of this in, maybe like 2 to 3, and you're good, man, for the rest of the night. Point Salad, that is my number 9. My number 8 was a new game to my collection, and it was recommended by people, and I really enjoy this game because of how quickly it plays. This game says that it plays in about 20 minutes, which I think is pretty accurate, but you can play it with 2 people. Star Realms, you play 2. Hero Realms, you play with, I think, up to 4. You could play 3 or 4 players, and it's got like a campaign mode and stuff like that. But these games go by really, really quick. It's a fun deck-building game that you build your deck from the market row in the center. You and your opponent are buying from this row and building up your deck, and then fighting each other and just trying to whittle down each other's life points until the end of the game. Kind of gives you Yu-Gi-Oh vibes, except you don't actually have to like construct a deck beforehand. You build your deck as you're playing. It's a really, really cool game, and I like the theme of it, the whole what do they call that? Fantasy theme. I love the fantasy theme on Hero Realms. I actually think I'm starting to enjoy this more than Star Realms, although Star Realms is really, really good as well. But yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them. If you like space, get Star Realms. If you like fantasy, go with Hero Realms. Really, really fun game. Very fast, very easy to play. That is my number 8. My number... Is that my number 8? 7? Was that my number 8? Yes, it was. And then my number, this is my number 6. But honestly, this is actually my number 6. So that was my number 8. So then I gotta get my number 7. It's over here. I'm sorry, I did this out of order. So you guys know what my number 6 is. But my number 7 is a game called Marvel Remix. Marvel Remix is basically, it's the same game as Fantasy Realms, if you've ever played, not Hero Realms, but Fantasy Realms. If you ever played Fantasy Realms, it's a really, really good game. The thing I didn't like about Fantasy Realms is that without the website to like keep track of the points, it is a very hard game to really like understand how you score points in that game. But Marvel Remix did it a little bit better because all the cards aren't worth like random points. Like in Fantasy Realms, you have cards that say if you have the candle and you have this card is worth like 117 points, and it's like, why 117? That's so weird. And it has like weird point values, but this game is really, really good. Remix does it in such an easier way that you don't need an app to score it, because like the cards are only worth like 11 points, 4 points, 5 points. Very fast, very fun, very easy to learn. You're just trying to build up. It's a hand management game, so you want a hand of cards. I think it's 7. You want 7 cards in your hand that all synergize with each other. So this card will say, hey, this card gains 18 points if it's with two other Hulk cards, right? And it's really, really cool the way that the game works. I definitely recommend checking out Marvel Remix because it's just really, really fun, and it plays super fast. You're looking at a playtime of 20 minutes or less, and you can just play a couple of these, maybe 3 or 4 games of this. It's quick. Marvel Remix, that is my number 7. So there's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then Love Letter is my number 6. Love Letter is such a good game, and Giovanni's like, yo, these games are fire. You're absolutely right, because he's the one I play the most with when we play together. But Love Letter, so fun. I think there's only like 20 cards in this deck. And with those 20 cards, there's just so many different possibilities. Basically, everybody has one card in their hand, and on their turn, they draw a card. They choose from those 2 cards which one they want to play, and they activate the effect of the card. But those cards will make you do certain things, like you can point at a person and guess what card they have. And if you guess right, you knock them out of the game. And this has player elimination, which a lot of people think is like one of the biggest sins of a game of board games. However, it's so quick and fast and easy to play. You're talking like 5 to 10 minutes to play around. If everybody's paying attention and playing quick, you can play this game in about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 10 to 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes if you got a big group of people with 6. But man, it's so easy to play, and then if you knock a person out, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I'll get you back in the next round. It's super fun, and when you just are able to guess and knock people out, it's really, really fun. Comparing cards, there's a card that says, hey, compare your card with the person next to you, and you compare your card with the person next to you, and they have a higher number than you, so they knock you out of the game. You're like, I should have never chose them. There's so many fun interactions in Love Letter, and it's such a cheap game. I think it's like $10, $10, $12. And I think everybody should own a copy of Love Letter because this is a really fun game. You can put it in your pocket and bring it anywhere and play it anywhere. So that's a really cool, one of my favorite filler games. It's my number 6. And now let's get to my top 5. And so these are Draftosaurus. Draftosaurus, I think I've talked about this in the channel before, but this game, it got a recommendation list for the Spiel des Jahres. I don't think it won Spiel des Jahres, but it got recommended. But this game, dude, 15 minutes or less. This game is so fun. It's just you take a handful of dinosaur meeples, and you get to draft one and put it into your own little dinosaur park. It's like you have your own little Jurassic Park, and then you're putting meeples in different dinosaur pens. And those pens score differently depending on what types of dinosaurs you put in them. Some you have to put all the same dinosaurs. Some you have to have all different dinosaurs. Some of them you have to have couples of the same dinosaurs. And so you're just trying to draft. However, somebody's rolling a dice that determines which type of pen you can put your dinosaur meeples into. And that's what makes the game really, really fun because you're so limited, and sometimes you gotta just chuck them in the river. This game takes no time at all. Perfect filler game. I think, honestly, this would be ranked a lot higher if it wasn't for a couple of games that pushed it down the list. This would have been close to my number 1. But Draftosaurus is a really, really fun game, and it's not very expensive. That's what I like about these filler games. All of these games are super cheap. You're talking some of them are less than $20, to be honest. Now, this next one is a game that has risen up my list in filler games, and that is Dice Miner. I just bought this game not that long ago. You just saw it on that list of new games to my collection. This game has already been played maybe like 10 times, and because it's super fast, and everybody who has played it has said, yo, let's do another one right afterwards, because they don't take very long to do. But it's got this little mountain, and you're just drafting dice off of this little mountain, and there's so many different dice that have different abilities. It's just really, really fun drafting game, and you score points based on how well you draft. And so Dice Miner is definitely my number 4 when it comes to all-time favorite filler games because of how quick it is, how easy to play, and how much people love playing this game and want to play it again. Super easy, super fun. If you can find a copy of this one, it's a little more expensive because of all the dice that it comes with. But if you can find a copy of this, pick it up. It's really, really cool. That is Dice Miner, my number 4. My number 3 is a game called The Crew. That's another game that you can get for like $10. It plays with, I think, 3 to 5 people. There is a variant for 2, so if you're looking for this as a 2-player game, know that it's a variant. Some people really love the variant. Some people really don't. It's a hit or miss. But The Crew is such an easy, fun-to-play, cooperative trick-taking game. And I love The Crew, man. I love explaining and teaching people how to play. And the idea that you're trying to make people win specific cards in the tricks without talking, because there's no talking allowed in this game because you're in the deepest reaches of space and you can't hear each other and in the void of space. So just such a fun game. I like the space one, but I think most people really agree that the underwater version is the best. But you can pick up whichever copy you want. I think they're both really, really good. But like I said, you can knock out a single game of this in like, depending on the trick, it might take you like 5 minutes. And as you start to escalate and get further on, they take a little longer because you got to really think. Really fun game. You can run this back a million times, and it's super cheap to get. One of the best fillers of all time, The Crew. And The Crew is really good. And so you might be wondering, how in the world is The Crew that number 3 and not higher? That's because Strike exists. And my copy is from the Dice Tower library. I didn't steal it. I bought it from a guy out of a garage sale who bought it from a board game garage sale at Dice Tower convention. I hope he didn't steal it. But either way, I got a copy from the Dice Tower library. This is your old copy, Tom. But this game takes about 15 minutes to play. It's just a game where you're rolling dice into a little bowl and trying to get matches. So there's a bunch of dice in the bowl, so you roll one dice, smack the other dice around, and try to get matches. If you do, you take them out. And the goal of the game is to run people out of dice. So the more you push your luck in throwing dice in, because you can throw in a single dice as many times as you want on your turn, but if you run out of dice, you lose the game. That's the whole point. It's like the winner is the person who's left with dice left at the end. Strike is so much fun, man, and there's so much excitement when you clear out the bowl and there's no dice in the bowl. The next player has to throw all their dice in. Dude, this game is so much fun. I think you can get the newest copy of this on Amazon for like $25 if you're in the U.S. Yeah, but it's super fun, and I recommend. I got this for $5 at a garage sale. Best purchase I ever got. This is my number 2 of my top 10 fillers. And my number 1 filler game of all time, currently. And I'm waiting for something to dethrone this game, but this is a game that I would want to play anytime because I really, really enjoy it that much. Dude, Scout by Oink Games. Man, this game is so good. If you have ever played Phase 10, or Rummikub, it reminds me a little bit of that, but with some added challenge to it, where you have your hand of cards, but instead of organizing your card in runs or in pairs, your cards are what you shuffle your hand, and whatever order your hand is in, that's the order of your cards, and you have to just work with that. So you can put out a set of cards to beat a set and take them as victory points, but then after that, you can people can take out of your set, weakening it so that they can put down their own sets to beat yours and take your cards as points. The whole point of the game is to just to beat out your opponents with putting out these different sets of cards and runs and different things like that. Dude, this game is super fun. I don't even know how it all fit in that box. I'd say that's probably one of the only things I didn't like about it is like you have all these little pieces in there. That they just literally are flying around inside of the box. I don't like that, but I guess that's the best we can do. I don't know if like maybe a calculator would just work better. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Scout is my favorite filler game of all time. You're playing games of this in like 20 minutes or less, depending how quick people play. But this is definitely my number 1 filler game of all time, and I think everybody should find a copy of this immediately because I really enjoy Scout. So that's it for my top 10 filler games of all time. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for joining me on this live stream. I know a couple of you guys tuned in, but for everybody else who's watching this later on, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. And now this is the part where I have to get up and push the button, but I'm actually going to tell my wife to stop the recording on the back.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, you don't know how to stop it?
Is it the X button?
Oh, no, I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. I don't know how to end the stream. This is my first time doing a live stream.
Old.
I don't know. And you're welcome, Brian.
I think it's the X button.
Is it the X button? I hope I don't delete this.
Oh, no.